Well, Grayson, to just kind of put a cap on last night in the series, I think it's a backcourt. Three ball did not go in at all in Game 7, and it was not a shot that went in for you guys in the series. Is that something, as you look at it, that's explainable at all? Or like how do you process, those shots just not going in for yourself and for the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a mixture of a couple things. We obviously didn't shoot, so, just missing is probably the first one, and that's the biggest one. I do think Boston did a pretty good job of limiting easy ones, so I don't know how many threes I hit over game 2 to 7, but game 1 I got 3 good open ones, knocked them down, and then it felt like 2 through 7, like the easy catch and shoot spot ups were very few, very hard to come by. So I think Boston did a pretty good job of limiting everything. But as shooters, myself, the other guys, like you always got to find a way to get open, and then when you get them, you always got to knock it down. So that's what playoffs, you got to make tougher shots.
I know they're a different team than Chicago, different skill sets. But was it just them, or did you think that maybe you got a little more attention with how you ended the Chicago series in the way that you were used?
From them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely did. For the most part, I had Marcus Smart guarding me, and he was not leaving. So that's one of the reasons why you're not getting those catch and shoot, because, they made a decision not to leave shooters. So they weren't really leaving me. And then as the series went on, there's obviously different matchups. Like, it's not Marcus Smart the whole time, but I felt like, guys weren't really overhelping. And even if they were, it was just a fake, a stunt, a show just to get back to me. So made it a little bit more difficult. And I felt like as the games went on, there were like game 2 or 3, I don't even know if I got one of those games. I don't even think I got a 3 up. So as the series went on, I felt like I did a slightly better job of moving, finding other spots to get them up. But they still did a good job, and you could tell it's kind of part of their strategy to make it tough and try not to give those open looks.
You mentioned that's how teams typically covered you before you got here. Was it just kind of like an adjustment to go back to that? Or do you get what I'm saying? Like you said, with Giannis, it's typically so many open shots, and they didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, I got what you're saying.
Was that like an adjustment to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting off the line again. They're chasing me. They're not letting me open. Like when so often this season, that was kind of how teams covered you when Giannis is on the floor.
Yeah, a little bit. You do have to kind of change up a little bit. I felt like that didn't happen many times during the regular season for sure. So you just had to change it up and find those other ways to get those shots off. But yeah, when they make it tougher like that, you're obviously not going to get as many attempts, but you still gotta find ways to get open, knock them down. And I still got a good amount of attempts up in the last few games, so you just got to make them.
In general, just what did you think about the season you had?
Yeah, so trying to be a little bit positive, since it is still from last night, and last night's very fresh. It was the best season of my career statistically. Health-wise, the best season of my career. So I have a lot of things to be grateful for, a lot of things to be proud of. So there's a lot of positives. I'm sure over the next few days they'll start to come, and I might feel a little bit better about them. But right now it's still it's hard to think too positively about it.
I just want to clarify. You were talking about the way the Celtics defended. You did notice a difference after Game 1, the rest of the series. Obviously, your numbers were different than one of the rest of the series, but you noticed a difference in the way they were defending you after that first.
Yeah, they definitely guarded me differently, and then myself, I didn't make shots when I found a way to get them. So part them, part me.
At the start of the season, you had mentioned that you haven't had like real seasons yet because of like the pandemic, and getting traded and stuff like that. Do you have an off-season routine yet? Like, do you know like I'm gonna go to this place and I'm gonna work out here? Like,
I don't know. the last few years, I guess one was a moving year, one was a COVID year, another was a moving year. So this year I don't have anything planned out yet. So I feel like this is going to be another, I'm not going to say weird or different, but it'll be another one of those off seasons where I probably don't have a full plan together because it'll be an off season of getting married for me. So we got wedding planning to do. We got honeymoon to plan out and figure that out. So I think this will be another year of I probably won't have my full off season set up yet. So hopefully another healthy year next year and we get that done.
When you're thinking of the off season, kind of what are some things that stick out to you about things that you want to do better going forward, knowing that you have the contract, this is the team that you're going to be with, and this is how you need to contribute?
Yeah, well, when I get back to it, it's obviously the first thing I'm going to be asked to do is shoot and make threes. So every scenario that I might get an open three off the dribble handoffs, relocating to every single different spot, just continue to sharpen that up and be as efficient as possible, be as consistent as possible in that. Working on offensively, being a threat off the dribble, and then defensively, there were times this year where I felt like I wasn't good, times this year where I felt like I was really good. I've seen I've seen some people make some comments about defensively in the playoffs, and I think I probably have a different opinion on that than most of them, and I think some people on our team do too. But I do think it was a better year for me defensively, regardless of what people will say. So that's always going to be a focus of mine, especially as a three-point shooter. Like, if you can do both, you can play. So for me, continue to get better defensively. I feel like athletically, competitively, I'm capable. So just got to get it done, work on the footwork and get it done. And but all the little stuff offensively, shooting, driving and kick, different finishes, different shots in the paint, just get a little bit better to be a little bit more consistent.
How do you work on defense? I've kind of asked Drew about it, and he's been like, there's like certain drills or workouts that you can do, but it's not the same as like, I'm going to take 1,000 shots.
Yeah, no, it's not. You could be, there's those stories of like Kevin Garnett just being in a gym by himself, sliding, and probably won't be doing that. But when you watch film, you can see like there's footwork that will make you a better defender. A lot of times closing out to the ball, just ingraining in your head, closing out. A lot of times when you want to close out, you want to get that lead foot way out in front of you so you can get closer to contest. That makes you very easy to drive because you're completely opened up one way, or if they drive the top foot, you have to completely open up your hips and turn around. And when you're guarding guys, not crossing over your feet, or there's position of your torso, where you're using your hands, are you swiping down or kind of checking down low. There's a lot of different things that can become habits. So making all those things habits, so when I get in the game, get tired, it just stays the right way.
Where specifically do you think you improved as a defender this season? Where do you think what specifically do you think you did better than you had?
I think I made a lot more plays off the ball this year. I think, looking defensively, this is something I worked with the Memphis coaching staff on, but last year for Memphis, I think I improved as an on-ball defender. And a lot of times last year in Memphis, if you look at it, my matchup was either their best guy if Dylan was not playing or in foul trouble, or the next best one on the perimeter. So, and then this year, a lot of times with Drew, Wes, Chris, George, those guys taking that challenge, a lot of times I was more in off-ball situations. So improving off the ball, I think I got better as a guard rebounder, kind of crashing in. Getting those long defensive rebounds, or at least challenging the big so that he doesn't and someone else gets it. A lot of low stuff off the ball.
What about the Wisconsin fans? At one point, I know they weren't fans of yours. How did you feel they embraced you this year being on the Buck?
I felt a lot of love from Bucks fans this year. I'm sure there's some Wisconsin fans jumping back on the hate train after how I finished that series. But yeah, I felt a lot of love this year from from Milwaukee fans. It was awesome. I feel like I had a different story every week from someone telling me they either were a Wisconsin fan or knew somebody Wisconsin fan that could not stand me, and then about 2 weeks later, they're like, "Oh, I love having Grayson on our team." So hopefully, I can continue to play well, continue to win people over.
You had multiple people tell you that?
Oh yeah, throughout the year, it wasn't it became an expected thing almost at some point. Like at the beginning of the year, it was about every other week.